What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're back to work on our 1965 Ford Mustang. As you guys see in the previous video, we went ahead and got both sides of the aprons basically cut out, mocked up. We went ahead and also used some self-tapping screws, which are honestly just amazing because you can't really clamp anything right here, but the self-tapping screw literally just taps between both pieces of metal, holds everything nice and secure. And then we also went ahead and made the bends on this side. This is going to be the side support for the fenders. Basically going to hold the fenders to the car because these aprons are not fully secured. As you can see, we kind of just made it flush with the fender right there. And then that is going to get welded to this bar right here. And basically all we have to do today is I want to get the fenders mounted up properly. And then we also have this cross member bar right here in the center. And then we have the old grill. This is the grill off the 66 Mustang that I bought a long time ago. It was actually what really started all the Mustang endeavors on the channel. And I think this might be only on the 66s because the 65 was kind of just round, but I really do like how it kind of like points forward. And then this is like a nice clean thing. So I'm pretty sure we'll probably use this on the final product. It just needs to get, I guess, stripped down because it used to be chrome. We could strip it down, sand it, and give it a nicer paint job than that. But it's looking pretty good. So today what I really want to focus on is getting these fenders mounted to the car 100% so they're nice and secure and bolted onto this solid bar. And I think this is going to be well of enough strength to hold the fenders and basically hold the entire front end. And this bar right here is also going to hold our radiator in place. We are going to have to weld some tabs onto this radiator. And I kind of went with the biggest radiator I could possibly fit in between these frame rails. And some people were saying, you know, it's a little bit too big and it's gonna be an issue. But I think what we can do is kind of notch the frame out a little bit in the front just so this radiator can sit nice and secure, because this is a 5.0 engine. This isn't what came in this car a long time ago, which was 289 or whatever. Maybe it's the same, but that thing needs to be cooled down. So we went with the biggest radiator possible. And then later in the episode, we're gonna go ahead and start welding everything together and basically start fitting everything on this car in, and maybe even we'll test fit the engine. And we did also get some goodies from Max Speeding Rods. We got these two turbos right here. These are they're like a GT582, I think. And this is the performance model of the turbos. So hopefully these things will be pretty good. So we're really mainly focusing on this engine. I want to do like 600-700 horsepower, and that's like at the crank, so like 650 at the wheels. I think these turbos will be perfectly fine just for that. Just the fact that there's two of them. They're not too big either. As you can see, the exhaust housing is pretty small. And I mean, this is a performance version of the Max Speeding Rods GT582. So I mean, it should be a very nice turbo. And then we also have our, I wanted to see what would happen. We got some Jeep taillights right here, and check it out. They're literally exactly the same size as that one right there. And I think it's just gonna fit in there, and it's gonna look a lot more modern than this old junk right here, because that's actually glass, and then this is plastic, but it's nice. And then it has a nice little halo right here. And we also got our intercooler. Check this massive thing out. I think it'll be perfect for this engine right here. It's pretty freaking huge. Let's go ahead and test fit it inside here. See how everything lines up. And bam, fits in there perfectly. Big shout out to Max Speeding Rods for sending us two twin turbos, the Jeep headlights, and the intercooler. So guys, if you're looking for some parts for your car, make sure you check them out. They have a lot of turbo kits on their website. It is a little bit in the budget range, so if you don't have a lot of money and you don't want to spend $3,000-$4,000 on a turbo kit if you're just starting out, they have a lot of options in that, and they have a lot of other cool stuff, like the fact that we could get some Jeep Jeep headlights and turbos at the same place is freaking awesome. So make sure you check them out. I'll drop a link down below in the description. They have thousands of products to choose from. Check out how the turbos look compared to our big old engine. And I'm still not sure what kind of configuration we're going to do with these turbos. I'm thinking maybe we'll get some forward facing manifolds for the front. They're basically going to come out right here, and then bam, just have one turbo on this side, one turbo on that side. So that's really good that we did go with the route with the bigger engine bay in here, so that the headers would fit through there, and then the nice turbos will probably go somewhere like around here, I'd say, something like that. Then the exhaust will just go maybe through the freaking apron. But maybe later in the video, we'll go ahead and drop the engine in the car, set it down, and see how those turb skis are gonna look inside here. We'll definitely get to see exactly how much room we're working with in this engine bay, which I think there's gonna be plenty of enough room in here to compensate for everything. And I'm still not, one thing I am still debating on is if we're gonna add AC to this car, which, I mean, I think they do sell full kits. and the AC condenser is pretty small, so it could probably fit right in between there. We just don't want to have too much clutter going on in the front because we need efficient cooling for this thing. We don't want this thing overheating. Honestly, guys, I'm gonna try my best to get AC in this car. I mean, you can always just roll down the windows, or we probably just won't put a front windshield in it and you'll just have to wear a helmet at all times, and that'll be sufficient AC right there. But who knows, maybe we will get the AC in there maybe a little bit later. I definitely want to get the car on the ground running before we do like more stuff, because the AC isn't gonna be too hard. It's literally gonna be 2 lines going inside there and then going to the compressor. So that definitely can be added later on down the road, and it's not something that you definitely need 100%. Like the turbos, you need that because we need 600 horsepower. You get what I'm saying? That's enough talking. Now let's get to work. I want to go ahead and start getting these braces right here mounted to the fender. So basically the way I'm going to be mounting this to the fender right now is I need to remove this side apron piece right here, and then we're going to have to, I think we're going to have to do a little bit of trimming because I want this bar right here to be welded to the cowl area right here, but it also is going to be welded to the firewall area. So let's go ahead and get this piece off and get this piece trimmed up. And we're going to do the same thing on both sides. To the chop saw. So guys, check it out. We got this entire centerpiece cut out perfectly. I was actually going to use the other saw to cut this, but I figured, you know what, hand saw or the grinder will be a lot more precise right here, because I think we do need to get a new metal saw. It kind of cuts a little bit to the offset, so we don't really need that. But check that out. We got everything fitting flush perfectly in there, and all we're going to do is weld it right here and then cap that off real nice and get that all welded up. And then obviously with the center cut right here, super easy, just we'll weld right there. We do have our TIG welding stuff, so I can't wait to go ahead and start trying to TIG weld some stuff. And basically now what we need to do is make all of our markings for where we want our fender bolts to go on. And as you can see, guys, this piece was bent perfectly. It fits flush everywhere to the fender exactly how it should be. Let's go ahead and make all of our marks and we can start drilling little holes for the bolts. So guys, after measuring everything up on the fender, we went ahead and made all the marks, and then I got my step drill bit, drilled all the holes, and all these nuts fit perfectly snug in there. Now all we gotta do is basically just weld around it really nice and tight, and bam, dude, it is gonna fit up perfectly. There's a lot of shaving. Let's see how this is gonna fit on, just like that. And bam, check that out. Every bolt hole is perfectly in the center. So it's gonna line up beautifully. So guys, the moment we've been waiting for, I'm gonna go ahead and start TIG welding these together. I did do a little bit of TIG welding back in the day, but I haven't ever used a HTP TIG welding machine. So we're gonna go ahead and get this all set up and just weld all this up perfectly. I do also like how this is 25 feet long. And guys, check that out. The hose is actually 25 feet long, so we can be welding all the way over there if we need to. Just a little quick change procedure here. Super simple to go from MIG to TIG. And here's the gas pedal right here. We might actually use this thing in the Mustang if it performs good on these welds. TIG welding is definitely an art. Oh yeah, we got. So guys, I got the TIG welding set up. I did a couple of test welds over here. They turned out pretty good. Now it's time to go ahead and weld these all up perfectly. So guys, check it out. We got all the nuts welded on, and my TIG welds aren't the greatest, but I haven't welded with a TIG welder in the past, like I'd say 2 years already. And I mean, check it out. It welded pretty good. Like that one's probably my best weld right there. I mean, all of them are nice and solid. They're not the prettiest, so I think we'll hit them up with a grinder a little bit later. But for now, let's go ahead and put them on there and see how everything lines up. We can go ahead and put all the bolts in and bolt them to the fenders. How do you think it's going to line up?
I think it's going to line up pretty good.
So check it out, guys. We got these side panels, or I guess the square tubing, perfectly lined, and it fits perfectly up to the fender. We went ahead and just used 10mm bolts. I know there used to be 13mm bolts, but that was back in the 60s, and these 10mm bolts are probably just as strong as that. Check that out. Everything is nice and flush, and it's nice and tight too. There's no gaps or anything there, which I'm super happy about, and it just turned out super flush, which is awesome. And I'm so glad we had our TIG welder, because welding all those things with the MIG welder would be so freaking hard, and there would be a chance where you'd mess up the thread, because MIG welding actually, it causes a lot of slag, like the sparks come up and it's just dirty and it just doesn't turn out too good. But we got them all bolted on there, bolted up, and it's almost ready to go. So guys, now what we're gonna go ahead and do is pretty much use another piece of this square tubing and basically put a support brace just going straight off the frame rail. Oops. So it's basically gonna come off straight off the frame rail, and it's basically gonna slide perfectly onto the, I think we'll probably put it just like that. and we'll have to cut it and notch it, and it's gonna fit perfectly right there. And then the firewall section is actually gonna fit right on top of here once this is cut to size and it sticks under there perfectly, and then it will get all plug welded right there, and basically the front will be supported. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and grab some square tubing, fit it all up, get everything cut out. Might do a little bit of tweaks, might be a little bit different from what I just told you guys. So let's get straight to it. You hear me? So guys, check it out. We got everything lined up pretty good inside here. We went ahead and cut these bars right here on the side to shape, and check it out. It fits up perfectly right there. And then this apron piece right here slides behind it. Then we'll drill holes in it, put the plug welds back there, which is gonna strengthen everything up. And man, it looks freaking awesome right there. Everything looks pretty seamless. And then we have this bar right here. We made the gap perfect between here, so that actually looks pretty cool. That's what I was kind of stoked about. So I haven't really welded anything in the back. These pieces that are holding the fender on, I haven't welded it to the car just yet, because we do need to get a lot of weld through primer, because I want to spray everything behind here before I actually fully weld the aprons together. I just want to make sure nothing rusts back there or anything like that. And we want to have this car last for a pretty long time. So we didn't do the back, and now I kind of want to go ahead and test fit our engine in here, kind of get an idea of how it's going to fit in here. Maybe we do have to do a little bit of adjustments to the aprons, not 200% sure. We haven't had the engine in here yet with the aprons on. So let's go ahead and get this engine and test fit it inside the car. It doesn't go high enough, boss.
Going higher? A little higher.
So guys, check it out. We got the engine sitting inside. Obviously, it's not sitting on its original engine mounts that we need. It's actually sitting on the original Mustang mounts, which just land right here perfectly on the frame rail. But guys, look how tiny this engine now looks inside this engine bay. At first, it looked ginormous. Now it's like a tiny little 4-cylinder inside, but that's good because now we have a lot of room. Like I can literally take these factory headers off the car right here. I could probably even use the factory ones. I'm pretty sure this engine is gonna sit a little bit higher with the Cortex Racing engine mounts, so it might sit a little bit higher. So I could probably even use the factory, whatever it's called, manifold if I actually wanted to. But we are gonna be doing the twin turbos, so we don't need those. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna push the motor a little bit back, a little bit further, just so most of it is almost past the front axle area right here. So then it'll be kind of considered a mid-engine car. And then also guys, let's see where we could put our turbos. So now that we have a lot of room in here, check this out. We could literally probably put them somehow just like that right there. I'm thinking one right here, and then the other one right there. Because there is a, oh, let's put the radiator in here too, just to see how the clearances are looking so far. Got this out of, so bam, that's even with the radiator in here. And that's, look, even if we put the radiator pretty close right there, we still have a lot of room inside there. Oh man, I think it might be a little bit too big, guys.
You guys might have been right, because this cat, or no, check that. They should have some pretty good hood clearance right there. Not too worried about that. Actually, lines up in there good. And then if we do, because I think Helion, they do sell a twin turbo kit that the turbos sit perfectly right here, which I don't know. We might actually either use those turbos or get a big single turbo, just so it'll be a lot easier on the fab side. But twin turbos would be freaking sick in this thing. So there it is, guys. The custom engine bay is almost complete. We got the engine in. Next episode, we'll go ahead and fully weld everything up, make sure everything lines up, and then we'll probably even go ahead and make our little spots for our hood hinges. That's something I didn't account for on this apron section. So pretty much all we're gonna have to do, cut a little section out like this, flare it out, and then just weld everything up, make it look super clean, and I think it won't be too hard. But that will be in the next episode. If you enjoyed today's episode, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also follow us at Instagram at vTuned, and also if you want to cop some cool merch, head over to vTuned.com. And guys, thanks for watching.